it involves real astronomy and real science in Star Trek. You know, you talk about the battles with the Klingons and the undiscovered countries and Wrath of Khans, and you know, those are great, but things where they're just purely exploring, and we're getting our 24th century NASA on, combined with the evolution of the human condition and wearing tight uniforms and loving our fellow man. That's, oh gosh, I can't tell you how much I love that. And the part that actual astronomy is involved and tied to it is just great. And I frankly wish that Star Trek would do that more often.
According to these calculations, we've not only left our own galaxy, but passed through two others, ending up on the far side of Triangulum, the galaxy known as M33.
That's not possible.
Because there's something just great about opening your astronomy book and there's Mars, and you say, well, I recognize that, you know, I can imagine that's where the Martians are. And then you see M33 and you go, oh yeah, that's where the Enterprise was and where no one has gone before. So that's something I really deeply crave to see more in Star Trek is, I mean, you know, you can have bad guys like Khan, and you can have your diplomatic disputes and all that kind of thing, and the Borg and such, but some just good old-fashioned, you know, let's look at this nebula formings kind of stuff, you know, that really, I mean, there's a lot of stories that you could tell with just everyday stuff that you'd see at NASA, you know? I'd like to see more NASA stories, if you know what I mean by that. And I've explained myself, so I you know what I mean when I say like a kind of a NASA story, which is what this one is. It's you know, it talks about warping and speed and accelerating ourselves in the universe and ideas and thought, and it's so brilliant. And I think we've all had, you know, as a child looking at pictures of astronomy and stuff, I just imagine, you know, and it's such a plane for that sort of thing, to just imagine. And I wish there was more of that, more stories like this in Star Trek where it's just a good old-fashioned explorative story. That's why I like Star Trek the Motion Picture so much, is because it's about exploring, and it's about grand themes of humanity. So I think I've rambled long enough on that, but geez, I really like how just the fact that they mention M33 is just so great. But anyway, and you know, we can see pictures of M33 and go, that, you know, that's where they were. But needless to say, you know, they're 2,700,000 light years. That's how much they've traveled. And also at maximum warp, it'd take them 300 years to get home if that wasn't quite a trip.
Data, what distance have we traveled?
2,700,000 light years, sir.
I can't accept that.
You must, sir. Our comparisons show it to be completely accurate.
And I calculate that at maximum warp, sir, it would take over 300 years to get home.
So everybody naturally are wondering, where in the world, how in the world did we get to where we are? And Pompous Kaczynski arrives on the bridge, and he's a little nervous, but that guy's got the gift of gab, let me tell you, much more than I do, because I don't even hear myself talk when I am talking, and then I'll listen to this and go, because I'm a fan of this show too, by the way. I await new episodes. Anyway, Kaczynski's got the gift of gab, and he's really he's good at sort of rescuing himself in this situation, but he uses a bunch of gibberish, as Riker calls it, to explain where they are and how he got them there, supposedly.
Captain Picard, I presume.
We're still trying to determine what happened, sir.
The truth is, Captain, I made a mistake. A wonderful, incredible mistake.
Just explain what brought us here.
As the power grew, I applied the energy asymptomatically. I anticipated some tilling, but it didn't occur. Now, that was my error, using the bezel functions at the beginning.
What is he saying, number one?
To tell the truth, sir, it sounds like nonsense to me. But, considering
where we are, we must assume it isn't.
I've always suspected that this rate of speed was possible, of course, but at this level, no, never. We're going to need new definitions, new parameters.
Perhaps you could call it the Kaczynski scale.
Why not? Yes, of course. Since I'm the one who's made the so-called warp barrier meaningless. And Captain, This must be a special thrill for you.
Thrill.
As an explorer, in 3 centuries of space travel, we've charted just 11% of our galaxy. And then we accomplished this.
So it's a little fishy there, and quite a mystery. So yeah, Kaczynski also brings up the fact that 11% of the galaxy has been explored, which I find very, very fascinating. That was a great thing to bring up in the episode. One of the other things of Star Trek that I own, the only Star Trek book that I own, would have been the Trekker's Guide to Next Generation, something along those lines. And it's a great book. It's a lot of fun. It was a gift. But in that, it talks about the different continuity mistakes throughout the series and bloopers and little props and, little oddities like that. That all the Trekkies love to nitpick. Oh, it was the Nitpicker's Guide to Next Generation Trekkers was the title of the book. And there's another episode, I don't know which one it is, but it says that 16% of the galaxy is explored. And, of course, it's, quite a gap there. But I have to go with whichever episode that statistic was, I have to go with this one, where they say it's 11% of the galaxy explored. And that, to me, is so profound, because you look at the range of the 11%, we've got so many of these peoples. We've got Klingons, and we've got the Ferengi, and we've got all these different people that we know, Vulcans and such. And there's so many other beings that we haven't even met yet in the galaxy. And yet we've passed 2 galaxies from our own. Oh gosh, this episode rocks. Oh man, it's just great. So our next scene is one of my favorite scenes in this episode, and I'm going to go ahead and play the whole thing for you. It's a scene between Wesley and the Traveler, and it's an especially moving scene for me. It has that theme. This is one of the scenes that uses that theme of the episode extensively before the one with Picard and his grandmother. So I want to play this for you. It's just great.
Can I do something to help? I can call my mother. She's a doctor.
No, there's nothing she can do. I need to rest. I've been away too long.
What happened to you? Is it part of what happened to the ship?
Please believe me. I mean no harm to this vessel or those in it.
Is Mr. Kaczynski like he sounds? A joke?
No, that's too cruel. He has then some small part of this.
That space and time and thought aren't the separate things they appear to be? I just thought the formula you were using said something like that.
Boy, don't ever say that again, especially not at your age in a world that's not ready for such dangerous nonsense.
After Kaczynski sort of storms off the bridge, the crew sort of collectively try and figure out, what they're going to do when they're with Kaczynski, or what, try to figure him out a little bit, and what they're going to do as they're there. And there's a great line where Data says, suggests to Picard that, we should just stick around and observe everything. And once again, it's another very human thing that Data is saying, therefore giving us more evidence that Data isn't just a computerized thing, thinking along those rational lines. Because he wants to explore, and he's curious, and he doesn't understand it when the computers are telling him something that's so extraordinary. And Picard, after Data suggests that we should use this opportunity for study, there's a cool star forming or whatever Data commented on, and Picard goes,
Spoken like a true Starfleet graduate. It is tempting, eh, number one?
Aye, sir, it is. But as they say, sir, you're the captain.
I know that if Kaczynski can get us home, Starfleet can use his technique to bring back a pure science vessel. Do even more.
Such amazing writing in this episode. But anyway, I want to play this thing where Kaczynski, and another great line in the episode where Kaczynski is commenting on this.
Do you realize how many great advancements of mankind have been tied to speed? This is a moment in history, right here, right now, and your names will be forever linked with mine.
And that's that's such a good line. It's a very good point too. A lot of what he says is true that I hadn't realized before. Anyway, Wesley knows what's up.